It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org from Louisville Public Media.
Well, I know it's afternoon for a lot of y'all, but it's still bright and ugly for me. I think I was up till about 3 in the morning, so...
Consequence Podcast Network. Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. Please do hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists. You can subscribe at iTunes, Apple Podcast, at Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions, or anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith With, and it's me, Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest is Margo Price. This was actually recorded live in front of an audience while Margo played a WFPK members-only show at the Monarch in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's a bit of a special episode today. Margo and I got to talk about writing her new memoir, Maybe We'll Make It, while simultaneously working on her upcoming album, Strays, why she wanted to write a book so early in her career. We also discuss her complicated relationship with the Nashville establishment, much like her friends, as she says, Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers, S.G. Goodman. She'll give us some stories about spending Thanksgiving with Willie Nelson and his family in Hawaii and how he taught her to play some dominoes. And you'll also get a 2017 interview that we did behind her album, All American Made. But let's jump into it. We're talking Maybe We'll Make It Through and Strays. It's Kyle Meredith with Margo Price.
Yeah, thank you.
Margo Price here on 91.9 WFPK. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Happy to do it.
Playing tonight at Headliners. Did I see it's the last stop of this leg?
It is. I'll be heading home to my babies. Yeah.
Yeah, right down the road, right, Nashville?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you here, and a nice coincidence with a song called Radio, as we are here in a nice little pledge drive. And again, if you're listening. And Margo is back not only with a new album on the way, Strays, in a few weeks, but a book as well. Maybe we'll make it. Maybe we'll make it. Is that that's the right title?
That's the title. Yeah.
I always want to say through right at the end. It's like it's almost right there. But seriously, like I want to hear about this because was it always the plan? I mean, you've got these 2 projects kind of right at the same time. Were you writing these around like at the same time?
I did kind of end up writing them at the same time. My career had kind of just taken off, and then I found myself knocked up, and I was home with a lot of time on my hands. And so I just started writing this book, like, honestly, as some sick form of therapy. And I didn't have a ghostwriter. I wrote it all by myself. It took me 4.5, almost 5 years. And so then I did start working on the album as I was still put the book down for a while. I would get really burnt out with it, and then I would tell my husband, like, I gotta go to this Airbnb. I gotta go to a remote cabin this weekend. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to go work on the book for a long time.
Take care of the kid.
Yeah. And he happily did so. We make a good team, but yeah, it was a really I learned a lot about myself, maybe too much, maybe. But I'm really proud of it, and it's just been a really incredible experience to go out on a book tour and get to see fans again and just kind of shake hands, and signed a lot of books.
Well, aside from, just having time, I mean, was there a reason, like, why was it important to tell your story at this point? Because you're early in your career still. Like, I imagine there's going to be many more chapters of this book afterwards, so.
Well, I hope I don't die, so yeah, I'll write another one. But eventually I will. That's why I want to, always leave behind just kind of what I've been through. The music business is just a really treacherous place, and I just kind of wanted to share my experience. I mean, even though I'm still in the thick of it, just for other musicians, other people out there, I think it's, it was just important for me to get it all down personally and kind of go through what I've struggled with, after losing a child. My husband and I, we went through some really dark times, we pulled through, and so it was just kind of important for me to get it out there.
With the record at the same time, as you're saying, do you find that, is there separation there, or do they work as companion pieces?
They do, and I also have an audio book that you can listen to that has a bunch of my old demos and like a bunch of my early recordings on there. But they did influence each other because I was looking for chapter titles, and then I had these like song titles and things that I was writing. So as the album comes out, you'll definitely be able to match some things up.
Well, we certainly loved all the songs that we've heard so far. I know there's 3 out there right now, with Lydia being the newest one, A Change of Hearts, and Been to the Mountain. I mean, oh God, I love the sound of that song. Like
Thank you.
That's some cool stuff happening in that one. And now radio, I mean, and of course I want to ask about that one because I was, we follow each other on Twitter, and I'm seeing you on there the other day saying country radio has never been, I don't know, like, what's your relationship with radio? Because I don't imagine it's exactly sparkly.
Yeah, I mean, my relationship with a lot of the Nashville establishments and just country music organizations is a complicated one, and and a lot of my peers are in the same boat. Fellow Kentuckians that should be played on the radio. Tyler Childers and Sturgill Simpson, Kelsey Walden, S.G. Goodman. Very dear friends of mine, and if life was fair, good music would get out there, but unfortunately sometimes it just feels like the world's one big Walmart, and so this is the other option for people, and we're grateful that there's a home for us to be played. So thank you for the support.
That's the easiest part of my job is playing her music and their music. So
thank you.
Just keep that coming. And then let's see. That's sort of like, you're friends with Willie Nelson. You've done some work with Willie Nelson, and I think about that too. Like, when you've got idols, like Willie wasn't a guaranteed radio guy and has made a career out of that. So, and you just spent some time with him. Like, do you get career advice from Willie Nelson? I think that's what I'm getting to right here.
Well, for Thanksgiving, they invited us over to their home in Maui, which was just the most surreal thing ever. And honestly, we just sat around and told like jokes for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I'm always getting wisdom from him. And I think, he's been a big inspiration to me. Bonnie Raitt as well. It was like Willie moved to Austin when he was 40. I'm 39. And there's people out there who have done it a different way, and Lucinda Williams. There's just all sorts of heroes that I've been lucky enough to meet, and that kind of keeps me going sometimes because it ain't all roses.
How's Willie at Dominoes?
Incredible. I had never played dominoes either, and so he gave me a dominoes lesson. And he was telling me about how when he was little in Abbott, he would play with all the old men in the park, and that they would have to go to take a leak, and that he would sit in for them, and if he messed up, they would whoop his ass.
I mean, Willie's known for some specific things, but I didn't know that dominoes was one of them. So
yeah. I got a good education there, and Annie, his wife, just cooked an incredible meal, and it was one of the strangest, coolest things that's ever happened.
Living a life where you're in Hawaii with Willie Nelson and his family, that's not too bad. So. Ladies and gentlemen, Margo Price.
Hey, thank y'all for having me. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting public radio.
And we'll be right back right after this. Hey, welcome back. It's Kyle Meredith with Margo Price. I also mentioned a 2017 interview that Margo and I had done. This stretches back, she had made her debut at 2016's Midwest Farmer's Daughter, had a great success with that one, and then quickly followed it up with All American Made just a year later. So we got to talk about having no shortage of thoughts for the album, painting pictures of blue-collar hardships, and what Middle America was in 2017. So included here for your listening pleasure, it's part 2 of Kyle Meredith with Margo Price.
Hey, how's it going?
Excited to have you up here in Louisville. I know you're going to be in January playing at Headliners. Always happy to have you up here, especially when you've got such a strong new record once again. We're really loving All American Made.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to add them into my live show. So yeah, it's been great to play some new songs and just build on them.
Well, congratulations on all the accolades. I've been seeing all the folks putting it on their best of list throughout the year, and I know there's a lot to talk about with this record too, and I'd like to start sort of by a compliment, actually, because for the subject matter that you're tackling, it can, I know it can be a little weighty as a songwriter to kind of find the angle on that, but the way you've done this to where it seems like you've worked this into everyday life, which is just as it is for most people. These things, these walls that we're pushing up against, it's all a part of our life. And I know to have the plight of the songwriter to have something connect is sometimes hard, and the way you've done it is, like I said, really impressive. Does that come natural for you? Is that something you have to work at to try to figure out how to fit this into poetry?
I feel like I've just been trying for so long to write about, gritty issues. It's just hard. It's hard to, like you said, to block out what's going on in the world. It's really in our face right now. And, for me, it's political issues or social issues, and it's all about how I see people being treated, and, just trying to put that into something that makes it hit home, like just the working middle class. Everybody's really struggling right now, and I've always wanted to be just a voice of those people throughout our country, just working really hard and struggling to make ends meet. And I think just because I lived as a below the poverty line for so long, that I know what people are going through right now. I feel like music is one of the things that can bring us together, and I try to talk about it in a way that's not shoving my opinion down anybody's throat, just talking about observations.
I mean, even the title of the song, Heart of America, I mean, that almost says it all. I mean, everybody knows what you're talking about there.
Yeah. I always felt growing up that, being from the breadbasket and the areas where, kind of all the food was being made. And I was bored there, and, but they call it the heartland, and, there still are so many beautiful things about it when I go back and see, rolling fields. But I would really love to see family farmers have more of a place and more people growing their own food, because obesity is an epidemic right now, and just more people getting cancer and getting sick because the things we're eating aren't good for us. And that all started with when we stopped growing our own food, and when we left it into the hands of corporations who just want to make a lot of money, and they don't care about people's health.
Right. And thank goodness for Farm Aid, although, it's a shame that we still have to have that concert every year, because, that fight is still going on, or the education's still going on. Yeah.
Willie Nelson has given so much back to the family farmers, so many grants. I can't remember the number exactly, but he's given so much to the family farmers and really helped them through. And going there and hearing their stories, it's like not getting any easier, unfortunately. Family farms close every day. And so for them to just be there and kind of raise awareness, I think it makes other people just want to do something small, even just plant a garden, and or support, local farms. When you go to the grocery store and you see that the local produce costs more money. It's unfortunate that it costs more money to just eat healthy food.
Yeah, and I know that plays, sort of into several parts of the record too. I got down further. Of course, the title track with All American Made is this jaw-dropping moment for me on the record, because I don't know, what was it like to write that song there? Because I also find it interesting that you take a broad scope sort of look at America, but there's also those very specific details like gun deals between us and the Middle East.
Yeah, that song my husband and I co-wrote, and it took, I think we worked on it for an entire day, and then things were, we're still getting kind of tweaked here and there. But it really took me back to my childhood, and I was trying to think about growing up. I felt like I had a Tom Petty song in my head the whole time, almost too, which is why in the last verse I had to reference his name and ask him a question. But I just, grew up was born during the Reagan administration, and I started, really reading a lot. I love reading about American history, and I love reading the true versions of American history after, being fed maybe watered down kind of stories at times in school.
Right.
So going back through and reading all that, it was like I just felt like I had to mention it. And it's strange that we had celebrity president then, and then now what's going on. But Reagan was still very presidential, I think. But a lot of things that go on the American people don't get to see, or we just hear different versions of stories through whatever source of news we're getting.
It's sad that I have to say I wish he would act at least as presidential as Reagan.
Oh,
I mean, position I want to be in, you know?
I'd take Bush back any day, really.
And as far as the record coming out, it was a quick follow up. Is that just how it played out, or were you on a mission to say, all right, now that I've got this, we're going to blast through it?
For sure. I mean, I think people would have been happy to have me sit on that album and do more with it for another year and a half. But I'm writing all the time. My husband's writing all the time, and we're really competitive in that field. And it feels so exciting too that I have an audience. So for me, it was like, let's just keep writing great songs and keep moving. The people that I admire have always done that, and there's Neil Young, who puts out multiple records in one year, and Willie Nelson. I want to have that kind of catalog someday, and I feel like I'm in my prime, so it just made sense for me to. I would have probably had it out 6 months sooner if I had my way, but there's a lot of things that go into it with artwork and just planning tours around it, and we'd already had a lot of stuff on the books too, so it kind of didn't make sense to put it out when I was doing all these opening dates, which was amazing. I mean, I had a great time out on the road with Chris Stapleton and Willie Nelson and lots of good folks. But so now we're finally going to be able to do another big headlining run of shows starting at the new year, and got a lot of cool things on the books. Some I can say and some I can't.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to them all. I heard you're working on that score too, which would be interesting to hear how that comes out. And and again, all the compliments, with All American Made, having Willie a part of it, I know it's got to be a huge thing for you, and the whole thing has just been such a great listen for us over here. So thank you for the...
Oh, thank you so much for the support. I love Louisville, and I'm really looking forward to coming back to headliners and hopefully sell that thing out.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make sure everybody knows about it as well. So we'll be playing it, and we'll see you then, January 20th.
All right, sounds great.
All right, thanks, Margo.
Bye.
And my thanks again to Margo Price. The memoir is called Maybe We'll Make It Through. The new album is called Strays. Thanks to you for checking out the episode. Please do hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with the full series. Again, you get 3 new interviews every single week, new and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at iTunes and Apple Podcasts, at Spotify and Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions, or again, anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith With. Then after that, head over to WFPK.org, where I do a show starting at 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews. Again, Monday through Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the old social media spots, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all 3 of them at Kyle Meredith. So I do hope you like and follow along. And that does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time. Consequence Podcast Network.
It's just really hard to go to sleep after a show. You just get all hyper.
It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org, from Louisville Public Media.